Alpha monocerotid meteor shower would probably grace our skies today. This is the latest on space weather. Alpha monocerotid meteor update. Earth passed by a filament of comet dust November 22nd, that's today, around 4:50 UT in the morning. A close encounter did produce some alpha monocerotid meteors, but it was not a strong outburst as people thought it would be. So far, we have received reports from Marcus Dan in Germany that he saw 15 meteors. Jimmy Westlake in Georgia, USA saw 24 meteors. Jacob Kuiper in Netherlands saw 2 meteors. Gene Rhodes Moe in North Carolina about 10 meteors. Runar Sandes, Norway, 5 meteors. So these modest counts appear to be typical. Meteorologist Joe Roa, New York, listened to a forward scatter meteor radar and noticed a sharp uptick in echoes. Perhaps an outburst did occur, but was dominated by faint meteors, mostly invisible to the naked eye, if you saw anything. So the people, with a bit of luck, on the eastern United States will be able to witness a rare meteor shower. It's known as the alpha monocerotids. It would be, of course, late Thursday night. 2 astronomers predicted the outburst will last less than an hour and could even yield more than 400 meteors at a time. Meteor experts Peter Jeniskens and Esko Litinen published the prediction of this in the Meteor News, and they said that interested parties should arrive at their preferred watch zone no later than 11:15 p.m. to watch, 35 minutes before the forecast start time, to see the maximum number of meteors. So that would be around midnight. So, get there half an hour before. The American Meteor Society said observers in Eastern North America, Western Europe, Northwestern Africa are in the prime locations to view this display. Those in Western North America don't have this luck to see them. They won't be able to see them. Now, AMS Robert Lunsford says at the time of the predicted outburst, the radiant will lie near the horizon for observers located on the west coast of North America. From that location, only a few long Earth grazers may be seen shooting upward from the eastern horizon. The Alpha monocerotid shower was named after the unicorn-shaped constellation Monoceros. Appears every year during late November, but it usually brings only 3 or 4 meteors per hour. It's brought huge meteor rates 4 times in the past, the latest being 1995. Quote, the 1925 and 1935 outbursts reached even the level of a meteor storm with zenith hourly rates of over 1,000 per hour. This is what Jeniskens and Litinen wrote. In 1985 and 95, the activity reached the level with ZHRs of about 700 and 400 per hour. Jeniskens and Litinen are expecting similar numbers tonight, but at NASA, the meteorologists believe it won't be so impressive. Bill Cooks of NASA's Meteor Environment Office said the intensity of a meteor shower is dependent on the size of the parent comet's orbit. The parent comet of Alpha monocerotids has not been discovered yet. They don't know where these meteors are coming from. So, now what's up now with space, our space weather? X-ray solar flares, 6-hour maximum, A8, November 21st, that was yesterday, and 24-hour A8, November 21st. Solar wind speed is 586.6 kilometers per second. Density 2.8 protons per cubic centimeter. We also have a very nice picture of someone who took what she saw outside of her plane window at 30,000 feet, flying from New Zealand. She saw Jupiter above Venus very clearly. She took a beautiful picture of this. They were boarding a plane from Christchurch, New Zealand to the Gold Coast in Australia. Nolene Loans. And she had this wonderful surprise, and that she took that from what she saw outside her window. So, Venus and Jupiter are converging in the sunset sky. Closest approach, November 24th. they will be only 1.4 degrees apart, about the width of your index finger held at arm's length. On November 27 and 28, the crescent moon will join the show, forming a celestial triangle that people in the U.S. will want to go outside and see for Thanksgiving, or after Thanksgiving dinner. So that's going to be a beautiful surprise. And then we have an image of the green fragment breaking off the sun. The sun is still intact. That doesn't mean it's breaking up. Now, November 19, Mike Kelly, watching the sunset from California, sand dune when a green fragment broke away from the solar disk, and he recorded the event with his Nikon D90 camera. He said it was a gorgeous green flash, and I saw it from Mad River Beach in Northern California. Pacific beaches are a great place to find a green flash. Warm breezes from inland flow out over the cold water, creating temperature gradients in the air above the waves, and those gradients can magnify tiny differences in the atmospheric refraction of the red and green light, creating this green mirage. If you find yourself on the beach at sunset, you can take a look to see if you could see the green flash. We had 14 fireballs, November 21st. The inner solar system shows that all these fireballs orbit intersect at a single point, being Earth. Near-Earth asteroids, November 22nd, there were 2018 potentially hazardous asteroids. The last one was November 20th, 1.6 lunar distances, and the diameter was 14 meters, about 35 feet across. And the next one will be January 2nd, 4.9 lunar distances, velocity of 8.2 kilometers per second, and it's 13 meters across, it's about 40 feet. Now, cosmic rays in the atmosphere, they have a new predictive method of aviation radiation called ERAD, short for Empirical Radiation Model. They're constantly flying radiation sensors on board airplanes over the US and around the world that so far collected more than 22 GPS-tagged radiation measurements, and using this data set, they predict the dosage on any flight over the US with an error no worse than 15%. Now, obviously, the higher you go and the more hours you spend at heights, you get more radiation exposure. For example, if you're to measure radiation on airplanes, they say some sensors, flying stratospheric on board, Earth to sky, calculus cosmic ray balloons, neutron bubble chambers, and X-ray, gamma ray Geiger tubes, sensitive to energies between 10 keV and 20 MeV. These energies span the range of medical X-ray machines and airport security scanners. So let's say you're traveling at the height of 21,000 feet altitude, San Francisco to Santa Ana for an hour, you'll get a dosage rate of 12.4. Now, if you go from at 73, if you're at 45,000 feet, that's over twice that much. From Chicago to Teterboro, 1 hour and 30 minutes flight, you get a dose of 73.3. So you can see that that's like 6 times more radiation if you're that much higher up. Now, space weather balloon data. Once a week, space weather and students from Earth Sky Calculus fly space weather balloons to the stratosphere over California. The balloons are equipped with radiation sensors to detect cosmic rays, a surprising down-to-earth form of space weather. The cosmic rays can cause seed the clouds, trigger lightning, and penetrate commercial airplanes. And there are studies linking cosmic rays with cardiac arrhythmias and sudden cardiac death in the general population. Our latest measurements show that the cosmic rays are intensifying with an increase of more than 18% since 2015. The data points to the graph corresponding to the Ranger-Pfalzer maximum, which lies about 67,000 feet above central California. When cosmic rays crash into Earth's atmosphere, they produce a spray of secondary particles that's most intense at the entrance to the stratosphere. Now, the physicists Eric Reniger and George Pfotzer discovered the maximum using balloons in the 1930s, and that's what they're measuring, how they're measuring these cosmic rays today. Now, in the plots, the dose rates are expressed as multiples of sea level. For instance, we see that boarding a plane that flies at 25,000 feet exposes passengers to dose of rates 10 times higher than sea level, and at 40,000 feet, the multiplier is close to 50 times that of sea level. Radiation sensors on board the helium balloons detect X-rays and gamma rays, and these energies span the range of medical X-ray machines and airport security scanners. Now, why are cosmic rays intensifying? The main reason is the sun. Solar storm clouds such as coronal mass ejections, the CMEs, sweep aside cosmic rays when they pass by Earth. During solar maximum, CMEs are abundant and cosmic rays are held at bay. Now, however, the solar cycle is swinging towards solar minimum, allowing cosmic rays to return. Another reason could be the weakening of Earth's magnetic field, which helps protect us from deep space radiation. Now, why is our magnetic field weakening? That's another story. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.